Good afternoon. I'm Jim Eskin. On behalf of Eskin Fundraising Training, it is my pleasure to welcome you to our 123rd nonprofit empowerment webinar series. What we're running a podcast series, and we're inviting our audience to nominate colleagues, friends, neighbors, and we will feature them in our new podcast series. By the way, you can click on that and make a nomination from a colleague, a neighbor, a friend, somebody who is touching the world and making it better. And we've put 15 podcasts in the can, and we're really enjoying that. And you can recognize unsung heroes. This is the format for today's program. I have a series of questions that I'll be asking our subject matter expert. Her professional name is Barbara Eskin, but I'm going to call her Barb since she's my sister. And now, sorry, you can tell she's my older sister, who knows as much as anyone I know about the complex challenges and opportunities facing everybody who uses smart technology and explaining it in very conversational and easy to understand terms. And throughout the show, we're going to bring other people in to ask questions. Let me give a short introduction, very short. You know, I've introduced 250 guests, and I've never used this line before. The person I'm introducing, I've known all my life. Okay. My sister's career doesn't lend itself to a traditional resume. She's held a wide range of different professional roles within the accounting and office management arenas for a variety of different employers, most recently the U.S. Census Bureau, but we're not taking questions on that subject. Though she has not received any formal institutional training, she has intuitively adapted and seized advantages of an increasingly high-tech dominated world. She has owned 25 different smart devices. And so the tech community likes that she keeps on buying that stuff. And nearly magically, she's taught herself to master them. I was going to show you a photo, here we're going, of the Eskin family in 1962. The kid in the middle is me. And you're wondering why my mouth is wide open. I think I'm signaling that it's time to go to the dentist. That's my sister on the left and our older brother, Don, on the right. Barb describes us as an interfaith family. That's my mother, Charlotte Eskin, on the far right, who lived an amazing 93 years, and we lost her in 2016. But there isn't a day that we don't think about her. And she was a Mac person, too. So,
Yeah.
and my father, who was a PC person, he wasn't in this photo. Barb, I was trying to think what we had for tools in 1962. We had number 2 pencils. I don't know if we had Bic pens yet. I'm going to go to our computer historian, David Cantor, who actually joined Hewlett Packard in the year 1972. He was 12 years old. And he was responsible for coordinating sales with Kelly Air Force Base, and he's led an amazing career. I believe in one day alone, people forget. I'm going to ask him to talk about the state of the computer world in 1970s, okay, which was not like it now. I think, David, a big thing we forget was the handheld calculator. And didn't I read that you actually sold $1 million in one order of them?
Yes, that's true.
What
was
was
the
the computer
well, there was a whole bunch of different calculators. We had a whole line of calculators at that time. That was 1982. At that time, they were scientific calculators and they were financial calculators. The HP 12 was the one that the real estate people, all the real estate people used the HP 12 because it had all the time value of money calculations. They could figure out payments and things like that and adjust the interest rates. It was one of the first handheld calculators to be able to do that.
And I forget,
So
did they run on batteries or how did you charge them?
they ran on batteries. You had to change the batteries. They were N-cell
Probably a
batteries.
lot.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
well,
go else. What was it like working for Hewlett Packard in the 70s?
well, there was no PC, and what happened was in the 1981-82 time frame, IBM introduced the IBM PC, which essentially established a platform for which everybody could write software, and that became a unifying factor and opened the door to all the products that followed. And then, of course, Windows was another introduction that further expanded capabilities. And then finally, the internet actually evolved, and it made everything possible, which including this meeting today.
Hey, did you actually meet Mr. Hewlett?
I met Mr. Hewlett one time. Everybody wanted to look busy, so they were just
What was
going
that
crazy.
like? What was that like?
It was
Hey, what was that
quite
like?
an experience. Yeah, well, everybody there didn't want to be looking idle, so everybody was just very busy. And so one
Yeah,
of the
I've done that.
managers said, Mr. Hewlett, can you share a word of wisdom with us? And he said,
Yeah,
never confuse activity with accomplishment. Kind of
yeah.
let us know he knew that everybody really wasn't accomplishing anything. They were just busy at that time. Because, who's going to do business when Bill Hewlett shows up?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, David, thank you for the history lesson. Stay with us. We might want to bring you in at further stages of this discussion, okay? Anyways, Barb, are you ready to begin the Q&A?
Okay. You don't ever be.
Okay, you recently experienced a potentially very costly scam. Could you
Yeah.
tell us about this and how you handled it?
Yeah, I had a real horror story. Now, I didn't ever expect to be hacked or whatever happened because I'm a small little person. I just really didn't expect I'd be and I'm not usually ever on a on Wi-Fi that's open. It's always closed. So I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it was a data breach, but personal data breach. Somebody got a hold of every little bit of data. It had my credit cards, my logons and passwords to stores, to credit cards, to bank,
By the way, I
to
think in
my
our
email.
religion, we say oy vey. We say oy
What?
vey when that happens.
Yes.
In our
By the way,
religion,
speaking of
we say oy-
religions, I forgot to mention we come from a mixed religion family. Jim and I are both on Android and Microsoft and Windows, and our brother John and Sandy and Abby, that part of the family, it's on Mac, very very ardently Mac, and this is heartwarming to know. We get along fine. There's no problem with two operating systems. Families can get along fine. So okay, that's my heartwarming.
Thank you. Here's
Little.
hope. Let's get back to your scam experience.
Yes, back to my scam experience. Yeah, okay. As I said, they got a hold of the logons, passwords to everything, including my email. So one of the things they did was they got into my email and put a filter on my email so I would not get any emails from Amazon or eBay or PayPal. That's all they did at that one. They changed my addresses for delivery of places.
Hey, do you think it was the Russians who did this?
No, I think it was somebody pretty close by because these addresses things were sent to were Boston and Everett, but who knows, maybe. We don't. Anyway, so yes, they said I couldn't get emails from places. They changed the addresses. On Amazon, they made a purchase and then archived the purchase. So when I looked at my account, I would not see the purchase. So everything, I can't tell you how much they did.
So how'd you deal with it?
I'm going to skip to the end just for this and then go back.
Yeah.
They got nothing. They got nothing. They tried to make about $27,000 worth of purchases in 1 week, and they ended up getting nothing. I
Don't
just through,
rip off
through
the
part-
Eskin lesson.
well,
Don't-
partially through luck, partially through things that I do. But I ended up stopping everything, which was pretty much amazing. But there were things that could have been really hard. But they used all my credit cards. I had to cancel all my credit cards, get new ones. But the first ones were on, I believe, the first one was on eBay, and I wasn't getting. I finally got something an alert through my text messages, and so when I first found out that these purchases were going through, and I was able to stop it, and there was a very bad purchase from Amazon that was like overnight, and I only found it, and I wasn't getting, the emails from Amazon, and I finally got a text saying that it was coming. And this was a miracle. I went to the UPS website, and I was looking up the tracking, and there was a texting a portion where you could talk to somebody there, and you could ask them to call you, which is great, because if you try just calling them, you can't get through at all. They will not let you through. This was a real miracle, because they actually stopped the delivery. And they shouldn't have, because I wasn't the shipper, and it wasn't coming to my address, but I managed to stop the delivery. That was amazing. I did go to the police. I tried to go to the police at first, though the first deliveries were going to another town, the town of Everett, which is right outside of Boston. I called the Boston police. They said, call the Everett police. I called the Everett police. They told me call the Boston police. But luckily, my scammers switched to an address in Boston, so then I could go to the Boston police. And I always went into the police departments, made police reports on everything. So I had that on the record. When I got a message from PayPal that they were did I really make this purchase? And I said no. Unfortunately, they already went and charged my bank account. They didn't even go through my credit card, so I got $4,100 deducted from my bank account. That wasn't so nice. They immediately put through the refund, but didn't go through for 2 days. So if I was not in a lucky position where I was able to put funds from elsewhere into that, I would have been in real bad position. So that again was luck. I had some other alerts. The worst one was finally on there was purchases from Microsoft Store online, and it was a Surface Studio 2 Plus, which was a $4,500. These were all computer equipment, and a Surface Pro 9 with the keyboard. So it ended with $6,500 worth of things. And I found out about it, I guess again through a text, and I called immediately. And it was a few days away from the delivery. And unfortunately, Microsoft did not stop the delivery. Yeah, that really was very, and I know now not to buy something from Microsoft Store online, because they did stop the delivery, and they sent it out through FedEx. They didn't even request a signature on it. And so they could and then they just left it on the street. On the day that the delivery,
folks, this is in downtown Boston, by the way.
Downtown Boston, where people are stealing things all the time. And that day I thought I did everything. I told Microsoft Store. I had a email confirming that I told them this. I had a police report where I told the police. A bank report where I told the bank that this was. So I thought I did everything. But then the day that it was supposed to be delivered, it just struck me. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe they put my name on the door and this. So I actually went to the building where it was being delivered to, and there it was. and I called the police, and the police took me home. I meant to get the police to take it, as evidence of the theft. There was physical evidence of a theft, but instead they just took me home, and I told Microsoft, hey, you didn't stop it. It went to the other, and if you want to come pick it up, they should have, sent me flowers, had a parade for me. They didn't. So I'm very upset about it. But they did. But the bank did immediately refund the purchase. I was not charged for the purchase, and they even closed the case and said it was obviously fraud. And however, the Microsoft Store Online actually put through another purchase. They said they used the final credit card of mine. A few days later, getting another one of those Surface 2 Pluses, Surface Studio Pluses, but I got a text alert, and I stopped it right away. So that's a big thing that I learned. Get text alerts for everything. Get text alerts.
Okay, by the way,
That's
that gruesome experience, and I hope that you're not on Vladimir Putin's hit list, because I could be next. But anyway, in general, how do you recommend our friends in the audience protect themselves against scams like this?
It's hard to say, because I don't know how they got that information. I did have an Excel sheet where on my OneDrive with all my information, which I don't know how they got it, but somehow they did. I know people would say, you had what? You kept a thing with all your information, but I know I had to keep that secret. So there's something called a private vault in the now in OneDrive where I could keep information like that. There are also services that we were told about earlier today about password services where it keeps it a secret. Like I said, the thing that really came in handy to me is, and it did happen for every single one of these things, get alerts from every credit account you have to tell you when it's being used online. You can't just wait to get these days to get something from your wait your statement and see what's on the statement.
Yeah,
it's because I do keep books for myself, for my personal stuff, like I'm in a company, and I watch it every day, and I keep I keep a book where I have everything that's coming up that I need to pay, whether it's been charged to me yet or not, and I have Excel workbooks, and I know all these things, and I keep this, and doing that, I was more aware of what went on. And you don't have to do that yourself, but at least get alerts. Have your credit accounts tell you, or stores tell you when
and by the way, I think
something was made,
the major
and
credit card
then you
gladly do
could-
that.
Silly? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Some did it already, but I know everyone, and that really keeps you, because there are services that help you out, but they basically help you out after things happened. There's no one watching over you all the time and saying, "Oh no, somebody so
Hey,
you have to do it yourself."
What advice, Bob? I'm going
mhm.
to interrupt here, but what
Yeah.
advice do you have against being hacked?
But
What advice do you
against
have so you're
against well,
not
there's
hacked?
then I don't know how this happened, so it's very hard to talk about this now. With there are services.
Do you think it helps
I
change your
use malware
passwords every-
bytes. I use malware bytes and McAfee,
Yeah.
and you can just
Do you think it helps to
use.
change your passwords very
Well,
often?
I have to. You have
which
to.
I
Yes,
hate
you have
doing?
to change your password. Of course, I did change my passwords, all my passwords. Then I made up a sheet of all my phony passwords. I put it on my computers that and not in the the locked the private vault. I put it to see if they gotta try it, and but yeah, well, you have to change, and that's a bother when you have a lot of accounts. It's a real
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
have to do it. And like I said, I kept a chart. I kept an Excel sheet with all it. And again, people would say, "You did what?" Because somebody saw it somehow, and I don't know how. I really don't know how. It's a mystery now.
Hey,
It's
let's walk you
too
down
early
memory lane.
to.
Let's walk you down memory lane. Do you
Ah,
remember your first computer and how you used it?
yeah. The first one was a desktop. It was wasn't it? It was probably a bad choice. And I have to be honest, it was my husband's fault. It was all my husband's fault. He's the
It's
one who picked it
all
out.
his fault. It's
Totally,
all
so
his
I
fault.
had no fault in this. He did it. It was a Dell desktop and it was I didn't even know what RAM was or there's one hard drive. So I'm not even sure, except we had very little.
Yeah.
But we weren't using very little. We finally, had dial up Wi-Fi. That was fun. And then
That was fun.
uh
That was fun, by the way.
yeah, then there was that period. Do you remember? I mean, people remember apparently a sadist went to work for Microsoft. I went to, Bill Gates said, "I've got a new system. It's called Vista." And you remember that we all lived the nightmare of Vista, where
Yeah.
we had. I remember they had a the the hard drive was still a hard drive, but a C drive was only 50 gigabytes, and you're always running out of space because it was, and the rest you'd have if you had a larger drive, it would just be the F drive, and it was it was a horrible experience. And
Yeah.
uh, but what I did was I learned how to fix things by myself. And the first thing I did was just learn how to completely reinstall the operating system. That's what first thing I tried, and which was hard in those days. Now it's nothing. Now it's called, good. Going back to now it's nothing. You can do a few clicks, and it's a bother to go through all the, and reinstalling the, but it's nothing. And those days, it was back in the old days, 20 years, so everything goes so fast these days that it seems like the ice age when you go back to the but I learned a lot of things by just reinstalling machines. I found out at one point we had this one desktop for a really long time was nearly fried because we had a new hard drive installed, and the professional person installing it, put it in on sideways, which was absolutely wrong and nearly killed and I found that out myself and just put it out and put it back in again. And in those days, it took a long time before I got a new one. I remember when I got an HP that had 8 gigs of RAM. Wow, it was like, amazing.
Let's, Barb, let me interrupt you. I want to go to our learning community. Marcy Andrade is joining us. She is the inaugural executive director of one of my favorite nonprofits, the Assistance League of San Antonio. And I'd like her to answer 2 questions. One, take a whole minute or 2 and describe the work of the Assistance League of San Antonio. And you all have a unique model. They have volunteers doing so much of the workload, including providing the IT support. And I was wondering if you could also describe that.
Sure. Thanks, Jim. Thank you for inviting me. Well, the Assistance League, we're celebrating our 40th Ruby anniversary this year. We've been around since 1984. And you're right, we are predominantly volunteer based. Until I came along, there were 2 paid staff. We have approximately 478 members, which are volunteers, basically. These members pay dues, pay yearly dues, and do the great work that the Assistance League does, which are support 6 programs that basically do different activities, programs in the community. Everything from Operation School Bell, that's providing clothing, brand new clothing to kids in need for Title I schools, Togs for Tots, that's providing clothing and hygiene products to infants to 4-year-olds. I'm in charge. That's a school empowerment program for kids in elementary school, and scholarships and enhanced learning programs, and then something for clinically ill children and adults. So there's 6
How
programs
does
that
it
we
work?
provide.
Volunteers handling the IT function.
Okay, the IT function, that is everything from onboarding. So my onboarding was done. I got a call when I was hired by Sherry, who's the IT person here, and asked me what kind of computer I'd like. Was speaking Greek because she was saying things I really didn't understand, but she got me onboarded, got me hooked up, got me did all the troubleshooting, got me set and ready to be successful as the inaugural executive director here. Got me my phone. They are Mac based, so that's what they use, everything from phones to computers. And so they do that. She does training anytime we do any type of board presentation. She gets that set up. She works with other members here who are the volunteers and does anything from trainings. We predominantly retired members who are the volunteers. That's kind of who our members are made up of. Our other seniors, predominantly 60 and up, and they are very computer literate. So don't be of the mindset that computers are only for, millennials, or, I'm a Generation X, but we're getting up there in age as well. But they are, you know, technology is for people of all ages, and she is just a
Great.
dynamo and just so well versed from onboarding, troubleshooting. Our national center based in California did a pilot launch of a new national database, and she thought we wanted to be the pilot program to, make sure that was working well, got us set up for that. I mean, just really dynamic and a go-getter, and just really all about technology. I mean, just really, really
Marcy,
great.
can we ask you a favor? Please extend our heartfelt gratitude to all the volunteers for their hard work that do so much to make San Antonio and the South Texas region a better place to live. I've met several of them, and they are our role models. Can we bring Marjorie Hope on camera? And she's visited 12 books, has written a book, 12 countries, and has written a book comparing what countries have in common. And let's start with Japan. You were saying a lot of these other countries blow America away when it comes to smart technology.
Well, in developed nations, high-speed internet, healthcare technologies, and the use of smart devices are what's driving the innovation. But I would say there's really 10 countries in the world that are basically going head to head, but for different reasons. Like the United States is known for its leading tech companies like Apple, Google, Microsoft, Tesla. And then China's, hitting us hard with AI, telecommunications, consumer electronics. Japan, you asked about Japan. Japan excels in robotics, automotive technology, electronics, like Toyota, Sony, Panasonic.
Have you seen any of those self-driven cars in Japan?
I mean, that's that they work with Toyota. I have no idea. But Germany is actually renowned for its engineering and automotive. So they do a lot of that with the self-driving cars.
Yeah.
And South Korea. Yeah.
Okay, Marjorie, and hang on, we might bring you in later. And again, thank you for the way you always enrich all our discussions and give us a global perspective. I'm going to go back to Barb Eskin. And what should be the first step in assessing what you really need and finding the best deal and receiving the most value from your purchase?
Well, we now have living a life where there's no more really not much for stores like Best Buy anymore. That I think you did this yourself. That you found that in Dell and in many, you have to go to the manufacturers, and they have different strata of computers, and some are just a little bit fancier perspectives. But but they'll have different strata, like Dell has XPS and Inspiron, and you'll find that the two they'll have the exact same specifications, and you can get something for a lot less, and that's a good way to be more price conscious. Because you go to Amazon, they do not have the latest. Different people need different sizes of files and for drives, but I really think it's good to get as much RAM as you can. RAM is always helpful too because it keeps things faster. But it depends
How
on
much RAM would you recommend? How much would for the
Pardon me?
average person? How much RAM would you recommend for the average person
I think
out
at
there?
least 8. I think at least 8 these days. Now I have this Surface Go, it's only 4, but it's a smaller kind of operation, and it works just fine. But I think at least 8. Now I have 32, which is probably way more than I need. But I even
Well,
what the hell?
you have a lot of moving, all that stuff.
Well, that's for space on the hard drive, or the SSD. Thank goodness we're through with hard drives. But I just wanted to mention a few things because when you're on your PC these days, or you're on your phone, what you are is running into scams. And we just want to mention a few more scams because they're just so pervasive all over the place. And there was one that was very close, happened to very close to me and close to you. That somebody used your wife, my sister-in-law's picture and name, and set up a Facebook account with her name, and then asked made friend request, and then you get friend request from somebody you think, well, I thought we already have it. And, well, maybe something's wrong, and you accept the friend request, and then the scam comes, which was the scam was supposedly a government program giving grants to people of hundreds of thousands of dollars that you didn't have to pay back. And show me the money. That sounds great. And this is coming from someone so this is how this scam works. But then for the most part, I think the most part for Andrea's friends knew that, wait a minute, this is too ridiculous. And then you take a look at the actual account, and you see it's not real because it was just opened, and but it's a kind of thing that can catch a lot of people. The 2 other accounts were from other people in our family. One day after another. One day it was 250,000. The next day it was 300,000. That scam worked where the person pretending to be a friend, family member says, "Oh, you go to this person," gives you a link to give to this person who'll set it up for you. And I would believe that they would then take information from you that they, to get this government grant, you need to give them your social security number, your bank information, and all sorts of information that they could really drive you, ruin your life with. So that's one thing. And any place you go on social media, this happens. On Twitter, I have been approached by these are celebrity scams. These people pretending to be celebrities suddenly message you. I've been messaged by phony Bill Maher, phony Keanu Reeves, 2 Bradley Coopers, and 4 Elon Musks. I had 2 Elon Musk at the same time reach out to me. Hello Elon, and they want you to invest
Hey,
in
maybe
crypto.
take you in space.
And they tried to mention crypto, and I had fun with that. I told the phony Elon Musks. I told them I thanked them for buying this for me, and they said, no, you buy it. I buy it. You're the richest man in the world. You buy it for me. But so what disappoints me is that nobody that I'm really fan of has reached out to me. I wish it would be nice if a fake John Mulaney reached out to me. That would be fun.
Yeah.
But so far, no fans that I've been fans of. There's also a thing called pig butchering that I've gotten a lot of these lately. Those are text message scams. You'll get a text message. You'll say, "Are you meeting me at such and such a place?" Like you're their friends, and you say, "Oh no, I think you have the wrong number." And they say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, thank you, big time." And you say, "Oh, that's okay." And then they say, "Oh, you're such a nice person." And next thing you know, they send you a picture, and they always thought I was a man, so I've always got pictures of. They send you a picture of some model, and so you're supposed to, "Ooh, this model," and then they want you to go on WhatsApp, and next thing you know, they're asking for money, and that for some reason, this actually has a name, pig butchering. But and I've gotten a few that I've had fun with those. I've told them that I was a retired old man who was a widow with no children with a lot of money. So just get their mouth salivating. So, but that's another one of those things. But you get a lot of things in email. When you get things in the email, it's pretty easy to see because you can see what the real email address is. And these come all the time. But you'll see it's coming from, Xfinity or someplace or Norton, and you just take a look at the real email, and it's Joe Blow bunch of numbers at gmail.com, and you know it's a.
Do you believe if you don't know who's sending the email to you, you should not open it?
Yeah, well, you should go. You open it, but you don't open any links. I got one today with links. And you don't open any links. That could be a virus. That could be, or they're just phishing. They want to find out your information to use.
Yeah.
So, that's you.
This is a question I'm wanting to ask you. You can have the finest computer hardware and software in the world, but if you don't know how to use it, it's not going to be of any worth to you. What are your recommendations on getting training on how to use your computer hardware and software? Because it sounds like you're really self-taught.
Yeah, it was self-taught. It's not hard. There are YouTube channels for everything these days. So you can always go to that for instruction. There's YouTube channels. There are YouTube channels that are simply that announce the death and give obituaries for celebrities who are not actually dead. I mean, that's everything these days. So you can find really anything. It's anything. So you really probably do not have to employ any professional unless if you're a company that with a large staff that maybe then you might need some professional help. But for yourself, no. It's besides things are very things are very easy to understand these days. Much easier than back when the first computers were.
By the way,
we're still on DOS. They were still before
it's
Windows.
really,
now everything is been.
It really helps to have a sister that knows all this stuff. So be nice to your sisters. They might know more than you do. Hey, a real basic issue that I hear, go left, go right. At night, do you recommend turning your smart devices completely off or just leaving them in the sleep mode?
Sleep, I never turn my phone off. I mean, well, you can't, get the emergency I never turn my phone off. There's not much difference. Most of the batteries are optimized these days, so it really does not
Yeah.
hurt a battery if you don't actually turn, if you just close a lid, which I do, or if you have a desktop, all those with desktops, chances are you're going to turn it off. It's
By the way,
there's
do you have to worry about overcharging a smart device? Do you have to worry about overcharging a smart device?
no, it's the same thing with both with computers and smart devices. The batteries are optimized, so you really cannot. They will not overcharge it, or so they say. But I don't. But
Okay.
but it's pretty hard
Hey,
to
what do you
know exactly
recommend?
what to.
What do you recommend for backing up files?
I I use the OneDrive. I use the OneDrive, and right here I have some things to back up. I have this, and I have this. This is a portable SSD, another portable SSD, and another portable SSD, and this kind of portable SSD. This is cute. Now, do you need all these? No, you don't. So why do I have them?
How much?
Why do I have
How
them?
much
Because
do you
I'm
need?
nuts. I'm nuts. I'm nuts. I have backups. So you can't believe how many backups. I have backups of charging stations and for I'm just really ridiculous about this. So one thing I want to express today: don't be like me. You don't have to be like me. It's good to have one portable SSD. Usually, 2 terabytes will do. And the good thing about the Google Drive, which if you're on I guess you're on a Google device, but the OneDrive on Microsoft devices, on Windows devices, that keeps everything for you forever. Remember that F drive that I had way back when, and that's on my OneDrive. It's like having a time capsule. I can go back and I find out these mysteries from 20 years before. But I find that when you keep your files on OneDrive, you have them forever, and you don't have to worry about backup when you change from one device to another. Just everything flows with you. So I definitely use OneDrive. I use the private vault now to lock up. I was very, very lucky because I had all my tax returns on my OneDrive, and somebody got those. Maybe they just got that one Excel sheet with all my stuff, but if they got my tax returns, that Lord, that would have been my social security number, my husband's social security number. So that's everything's all in the very, very, very encrypted part of the drive now, and it's a bother. At first, I was using it as such a bother, but it's you got to stay safe. But it keeps going from one device to another these days is so easy because everything is locked up you have a Microsoft account or an Android account, and when you move to one to another, it all goes with you. Now, if you go from Microsoft to Apple, that's a different thing.
Barb, how often should we clean and take care of our smart devices? And how do you clean a laptop?
Oh, it's here, I'll show you a few little things. Here's a little this is like a little vacuum cleaner. This is even better. This is air. Air.
Yeah.
And everybody should have these and just do it pretty regular when it looks like it needs. It's really important, I think. As for washing it, I learned this many years ago in a phone store. And it's just hand sanitizer. Use hand sanitizer to wash your screen, and it's great.
By
And
the
that's
way,
why I wash it.
it should also be COVID friendly. That's also a
Oh,
COVID
it's COVID friendly. Well, now we all have plenty of hand sanitizer around, but so that's a really good way to clean it, and you should just you could tell when it looks like it has dust or has crumbs or something, which happens to be. Just use hand sanitizer and a few of these do not cost very much money, and you really need it as an investment. These just a few, $25 or so, and it's pretty easy.
This is a very basic issue, but I have to admit, I really get annoyed by it.
Mhm.
What should you do when your smart device freezes up?
Right. Well, I have it on my PC. This is a little technical, so when it freezes, you wait till it unfreezes.
How long do you wait?
That doesn't take very long. I mean, I don't know. It happens on my computer quite a bit. Well, not that much, but it happens. It only lasts about 10, maybe 20 seconds. So if you want to do something, it's going to take longer than it is just to wait. You wait
Okay.
because things like that. You're dealing with such micro technology that little links can cause something, and you don't have to worry about it too much. If it happens a terrible lot, then you need tech support. You need somebody to analyze it. I can tell vividly, but generally speaking, just don't worry. It just not. I mean, you get annoyed. I curse at the screen, but it's not really a big problem.
Yeah, you mentioned the Eskins being an interfaith family. Let's get into the PC versus the Mac debate. What do you see the pros and what do you see the pros and cons of each?
I'll tell you my cons. What drives me crazy. I've had to work places with some Macs. Of course, there are no touch screens. There are no touch screens on Mac computers. I can probably live without touchscreen, but it really annoys me. I really need it. And you can't right click. I right click. I use Excel a lot. Do a lot of editing, and I need to right click, and you can't right click and that drives me nuts. And I can't tell you the pros of, and I hope if Dawn is out there listening.
No,
I think he's scared. What?
By the way, what do you see the cons of the PC world?
As opposed to Mac, I don't know. I'm just not a Mac person. So as opposed to Mac, I do not know.
Okay, we're running out of time.
Okay.
So let me go. I'm going to ask, when do you know it's time to cut bait and go out and replace one of your smart devices?
It's so different from it. It's such a different thing now. I'm the kind of person who needs everything the newest, and that's so it's hard for me to say how when your devices are too slow, when it's too jammed up, and it's been too many for years now. I just found out about the new because the computer that I own right now, as I speak, is pretty it's pretty new, but there's the new the Intel Ultra processors. They're no longer Core something, they're Ultra, and they sound fabulous. And I am dying for it. It's very good for people who very, very optimized for AI. So if you use AI in your which I don't much, but it's also very much optimized, so it uses much less energy, and your battery works much longer. It sounds great, and it's got me really worse, but I don't need it. I don't need it. I guess I'm telling no, you don't need it.
No, but let's close with this question.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had stronger internet Do you have any recommendations so you can improve your signal and connection strength?
I had such good internet. There are devices you can get that will you can simply buy that
Yeah.
I had one for so if you were in, say one floor and it will bring it up to another floor. Basically, it's better just to get better internet because there's a lot of internet providers just offer pretty much a lot better. So look for better internet. I have insanely, right, 500 megabits per second. And I know that it's just much better internet. It's just routinely available. So that's
Yeah.
the easiest way to do it.
And here's my sister's contact information. Let us describe Barskin Tech as an emerging player in the technology sector.
Yeah.
And as I said, as far as people I know, no one is better than what she just did, explaining very complex issues in conversation and very easy to understand terms. So let me say what we're going to be doing. We're going to be posting a very brief summary of her main points on Facebook and LinkedIn. And then tomorrow, John does a spin dry of this recording, and we are going to put this recording on Facebook and LinkedIn, and we expect a lot more people to watch this on demand. So our series is going to continue next week. The subject is one that I think everyone can relate to. It's bosses from hell. And our subject matter expert is not a boss from hell, but is with a premier leadership and team building coach, Don Gleason, who's CEO of Achieve New Heights. So, Barb, let me say, I've known you all my life and you didn't disappoint. So thank you, and know that we love you very much. And to our audience, we love you too. And so that's it. The Eskin family did its deal to help you understand computers and smart technology. And again, you have Barb's contact information. If I guarantee she can solve just about any problem there's out there. Fantastic job. We'll be talking soon.